Hey folks, I'm Alex Dowd.
And I'm Katie Rife.
Today we're going to be talking about another one of this year's Best Picture nominees. It's James Mangold's historical sports drama, Ford v Ferrari.
Welcome to Film Club. All right, Dowd, and then we got another movie. You know, the movies we've been talking about today, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Joker. One could argue that the protagonists of the film are male, and perhaps a lot of their fans are male, and I like male movies a lot of the time. So I like this one, which is the dad movie of 2019. Ford versus Ferrari is the film.
What did you say? If this is a dad movie, then you guess you're a dad?
I guess I'm a dad. Call me dad. Because I enjoyed this film very much. Yeah. It's directed by James Mangold, who made Logan. And it stars Matt Damon as Carroll Shelby, who he's a stock car race driver. It's 1966 in California.
Retired.
Yes, he's retiring.
He's been forced medically to retire from the sport.
So he gets approached by the heads of the Ford Motor Company, who are entering into what you could really just call, like, to be crude, you could call it a dick measuring contest with Ferrari in Italy, I believe, over who can make the fastest car in the world.
Totally.
And so he hires a race car driver from England named Ken Miles to help develop this car. After, some trial and error, stops and starts, they take it to the Le Mans race in France, which is a famous long-distance race. And
it's 24 hours, right?
Yes, 24 hours straight of racing.
Which is insane, by the way.
Absolutely insane.
It's very dangerous.
So dangerous. You're riding in some sort of experimental car with a motor that, could take off into the air at any moment, and you're on no sleep. No, it's extremely dangerous.
Totally. Which is something the movie acknowledges, and I really like that about it. I actually think the racing scenes in this are terrific.
Oh, the racing scenes are very good in this,
Mangold really gets the speed.
Yes.
But he also, there's a coherence to them. He knows how to position the camera in such a way that we have a good sense of where a car is in relation to other cars, but he's also getting the velocity, and he's getting, the film opens with Carroll Shelby in Le Mans before he's forced into retirement, and it's raining, and it's just this, it's almost this apocalyptic scene.
Yeah.
And it really gives you a sense right out the gate of this pretty long movie, just how dangerous this particular pastime is.
Yes, I'm so relieved that we are coming out from the shadow of Michael Bay, which hung over action films all throughout. This isn't really an action film, it's just got action scenes in it. The clarity is being prioritized in action scenes again, and Mangold does do a very good job of, you'll have scenes where there's 6 cars coming down the track, but you know which one our hero is in always.
Totally.
Which is
absolutely
difficult to do. I would argue that the direction is quite good in this.
Oh, no, I think it's very good. I mean, I think Mangold can be a little inconsistent. We were talking about Logan before when we were talking about Joker. I like that movie a lot. That's, I think, one of the better modern comic book films. I don't always think it's terribly well shot. I don't think all of the action, even though there's a ton of very violent action in that film, I actually don't think all the action is that great.
Right.
But the car racing scenes in this really impressed me in a way that I don't think anything that Mangold has done. He has his merits as a filmmaker. I don't think anything he's done technically as a director has impressed me as much as those scenes.
Yes, I agree. In this film, in a lot of ways, it reminds me of a film that, we were talking about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood earlier in the late 60s. This film reminds me of a film that would have been made in the Hollywood of the late 60s. Yeah. And 100% Steve McQueen would have played the Ken Miles role if this movie had been made in the late 60s, because Steve McQueen was into race car driving. He made a movie called Le Mans in 1969.
Totally.
So it reminded me of a film from the 60s, but with better car racing scenes in it. They don't have to film them from far away they used to back then.
You're right, its values are sort of old-fashioned in a way.
It is.
This is a movie that sort of celebrates men at work. There's sort of something a little Hawksian about that.
And the relationships that men have at work.
With each other. Because a lot of it is about the relationship between Carroll Shelby and Ken Miles. They're played by Matt Damon and Christian Bale. I would say of the two performances, Bale's is the bigger one. It's kind of the showier one.
Although I will, once again, to bring it back around to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, we had 2 big movie stars doing good old boy accents this year. And while DiCaprio's performance was better, I'll give Damon the edge on the accent.
You think he really nailed the accent?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I've known some good old boys in my life, and They talk like that.
Yeah. Bale is very entertaining in this film. I mean, he's kind of playing a character who's not so different than his character in The Fighter. He's this kind of hothead. I mean, I think his first scene, he like hurls a wrench at Damon, you know?
Oh, yeah,
almost
his whole
gets
thing
kicked
is...
out of the race.
Yeah.
He's like a man of principle, you know?
He doesn't play by anybody's rules but his own.
Yeah,
he's one of those guys.
But it's very fun. A lot of the movie is just him driving in cars, yelling things like "Crikey!" "Yo, wanker!"
It's
like
just
yelling
really fun.
things in the car.
And the movie has, a big stick it to the man element where the guys at Ford are just, dinguses that don't know anything about being a man. They think being a man's wearing a suit. Well, guess what?
Right. It's basically pitting professionalism against corporate interests. I mean, the movie isn't really about, despite the title, Ford v Ferrari, the movie is really like Ford versus real professionals.
Yeah, Carol and Ken versus the world, basically.
Exactly, yeah. And against because over and over again, over the course of the film, a lot of it is about the obstacles. One could say that the race really is not the real obstacle they're facing. It's how do we get through to these pig-headed executives, basically. I mean, Josh Lucas plays one of them. Josh Lucas has made a career out of playing like
a stooge.
Stooges you love to see thwarted. So he's very well cast in that respect. He's always the voice of like, no, you can't do that, or no, we're going in a different direction. So, and I have to confess, I found that very rousingly entertaining in an old-fashioned way. Just watching these like old school, down to earth, like professionals, like they just want to do their job as well as they can. Is the idea.
But what I enjoyed about it was that like it was a film about masculinity that also prioritized like being a good dad. Like Ken has kids and he gets along well with his wife and she's just not like a nag at his ear like, why you gotta leave to go repair these cars all the time?
Right, no, she's attracted to the fact to his line of work.
They're well paired and they love each other and it's always you see the nagging wife or maybe the crying wife sitting at home crying next to the phone so much that even though the film is very much about men and masculinity, I appreciated that you had a character in it who was, like a knowledgeable woman.
I think they thread that needle really well because she's into it too. Yeah. She likes racing. It's one of the things that attracts her.
She knows a lot about cars.
Yep. But she also understands the risks. I mean, again, the movie foregrounds very early on how dangerous this line of work is. And she occasionally has to be a voice of reason. She's like, listen, I get why you do this. I love it too.
But you've got a kid.
You have a kid now.
Yeah.
And the movie, I think, handles that sensitively and you're right, she's never a shrew, Yeah,
which I always appreciate. And I like models of masculinity that aren't overtly like toxic, and aggressive. And I found this to be a rather wholesome depiction of men and male friendships and ambition and career and all that kind of stuff. I found it to be a very wholesome depiction of all of that, which was fun. And it added to the old-fashioned element of it. I would place it in the 60s specifically, in that transition period, because, the kind of stick it to the man individualistic thing is very of that era.
Very much so.
Yeah.
All right, folks, that's all the time we have today. Thank you so much for watching. If you are watching this on YouTube, please make sure to like and subscribe.
Please.
We're going to be back soon talking about more of this year's Best Picture nominees. I think coming up soon we have episodes on Parasite and also Jojo Rabbit.
And while you're at it, if you'd like to get a complete survey of this year's Best Picture nominees from Film Club, we have already filmed episodes on The Irishman, Marriage Story, Little Women, and 1917. So you can find those all on our YouTube channel as well.
Thanks, folks.
Bye.